I changed one small setting on my phone and something very interesting happened. My kids stopped using my phone completely. Not because I told them to, not because I set some screen rules, but they stopped finding it attractive. They found it boring. They just lost interest. It started as a small experiment. I turned on grayscale, but it ended up changing how I felt about my phone, how people reacted to it, and how my kids looked at it. Let me begin by telling you why I turned on grayscale. I read a research that people are getting addicted to their phones because most apps are designed to grab our attention. Bright notifications, colorful icons, and visual triggers everywhere. And none of that is accidental. Designers know that colors trigger dopamine in our brains, which makes us want to check our phones again and again to see what new has come up. So I thought, what if I remove all the color? Will my phone become less addictive? I wanted to see what difference it will make, and hence I switched my settings to grayscale. Phone makers have not made it easy. They have hidden it inside accessibility settings, but I found it and I turned it on. And interesting things started to happen. First strange reaction came from myself. I was really confused for the first few hours. Everything looked a little blurry to me. It wasn't literally blurry, but my brain felt that it had lost all the orientation. Think about it. We find apps using colors. WhatsApp is green, Instagram is pink and orange, YouTube is bright red, Snapchat is yellow. But in grayscale, all icons looked the same. For the first few days, it was quite challenging. I kept unlocking my phone and I would stand there. Wait, where's that app? It sounds small, but it made me realize how much my brain relied on color as a shortcut to find those apps. Then I started noticing another interesting thing. The apps had almost lost all their power. When everything is colorful, certain apps feel like they're calling you. You unlock your phone and suddenly your favorite icons grab your attention and that's where you go. But in grayscale, nothing stands out. Everything looks quiet. Everything looks boring. Everything looks a little sad. And I noticed something specific with me. I started picking up my phone less often. And not because I was intentionally trying to give up, but because there was nothing that was visually pulling me in. Another thing that I didn't expect to feel, but I did, my eyes started feeling less tired. When I was using my phone, it was a lot calmer on my eyes. Normally, our phones are filled with bright colors, flashing highlights, constant stimulation. But in grayscale, it almost feels like you're reading a newspaper instead of watching TV. And I realized that my eyes were not getting as much strained anymore. That made me think about the damage the colored phones are doing to our eyes. Let's move on to the more interesting challenges I had. And they were not technical, they were social. One day at school, I pulled my phone out to show another parent something, and they immediately noticed that it looked different. They looked at my phone and said, "What happened to your phone? Is it broken?" In that moment, I had a choice. Whether I explained to them the entire grayscale experiment, or I just make an excuse and move on. And honestly, in that moment, I chose the second option because I saw that it was making them feel uncomfortable and they perhaps were not ready to have a conversation about digital habits. So I just said, yeah, I have grayscale, and I moved on from that topic. They were confused for a few seconds. It was very awkward though. Then there was another moment that made me feel panic. I was standing in a line at an event and the security needed to check and scan my barcode. I pulled my phone out and then I realized, oh, it's grayscale. They may not be able to scan this properly. So I was frantically trying to change the settings and go back into the color mode because I felt that I was holding up the entire line just because my phone was black and white. Video calls with family were also surprisingly strange. I just answered my mom's video call out of habit and I looked at her. She looked very washed off and I was like, "Mom, you look sick. Are you unwell?" And that's when I remembered, it's black and white. It's a tiny thing, but it shows how used to we are with colors. So I thought in social situations, I can't keep switching between grayscale and color. There has to be an easy way. And then again, I went to accessibility and I found a shortcut to add to my phone. Now, every time I need to switch between grayscale to color, I can just press the side button 3 times. That's what I do now. I have grayscale on default, but in social settings or when I have to pull out my phone for other people, I change it to color using that button. And then I change it back to grayscale after I'm done. The biggest change of all of this I have seen though was with my kids. Before grayscale, if my phone was lying around, my son who is 5, he would pick it up, say please 10 times and then start watching YouTube Kids on my phone. But now he doesn't even touch it. He has tried, but it's too boring for him. No colorful icons, no bright apps, nothing exciting on my phone anymore. For him, Peppa Pig has lost her pink. And honestly, this alone makes grayscale worth it for me. Turning on grayscale didn't magically fix all my digital habits. However, it addressed one of the key tricks that our phones use, color. Suddenly, my phone had stopped calling out to me and started sitting quietly on the bench top. And if turning my phone black and white means that my kids won't use it anymore, that's a win for me. I'm sure that's a win for every parent. Let me know in comments, would you try turning grayscale on? And whatever challenge you face with this, reach out, because my purpose is to help you find tools to overcome those challenges. I'll see you in the next one.